Welcome back. And aren't you obviously a glutton for punishment? Um, I was all excited about today. The internet told me it was going to be 61. It's the first time it's been above 60 in, at least a week. And uh, if given a choice between the warmer weather and the colder weather, I will take the warmer weather. I'm a warmer weather person. I can do something about being too hot. I can, lay on the concrete for a couple minutes. I can go stick my feet in a tub of cold water. I can jump in the shower and wet myself down. Keeping in mind that where I live, hot is mid 90s, right? It doesn't get hotter than that. It's not like when I lived in California and, hot was 110 for 15 days in a row. You wake up at 5 a.m., it's 78 degrees, and that's as cool as it's going to be all day. And you know it. Um, but this is what the sky looked like this morning. And although, according to the internet, it did get up to 61 degrees at one point today, it was not a pretty day, and the wind was blowing. It rained, actually, about half an hour ago. Um, Not a very warm day, very gray day. And I knew I would be doing this plaque today because I'd worked it up the other day and then decided to do a paint job on it first and then carve it out or tape it up. Um, so I went with the gray color scheme for it, and I figured since I probably could talk about carving this out for it's only 9 minutes for the entire length of the video, but I thought I'd also throw in a very brief history of zero and see if any of you could figure out why I'm talking about zero while I'm carving this, or while I'm doing up the paint job on this plaque, because it's not really a carve, it's just a paint job. So zero was first used, or the concept of zero was first used by the Sumerians. They probably got it from the Anunnaki. We can talk about the Anunnaki another day. It's a interesting subject. Whether you believe in that version of history or not, it's still interesting to think about. It's got its merits and its demerits. Um, let's not get into it right now. I'll do that when I'm carving something longer and I can actually spend time on it. Um, where was I? Where was I? Ah, yes, the history of zero. I remember now. It was first used by the Anunnaki, I mean the Sumerians, um, about 2500 BC is what they think. But it wasn't actually a zero they used. It was just the concept of zero. So the Sumerians would have columns, a lot like we do today, or in fact, just like we do today. They'd have the ones column and the tens column and the hundreds column and the thousands, and then they would put the appropriate mark for whatever number they wanted to represent into that column. So if it was, if that mark that equaled what we call the number one was in the fourth column, then that would be 1,000. Right? And generally, I mean, they kept track of everything. So most of those, Sumerian tablets that you see or hear about are actually just records of, Fred sold Barney one goat for 14 bushels of corn or something. But they needed to be able to track it, so that's how they did it. Um, the Akkadians got it from the Sumerians, and the Babylonians got it from the Akkadians, and that was about 2000 BC. Um, then there was a long period of time before the actual symbol was starting to be used, and that was originated by a gentleman from India whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce, even though I've got it up here on my screen. Um, and he used an oval. It was, for lack of a better term, a lowercase oval, but he wanted to fill that space with something. Um, and then that migrated into the Arabic culture. The Arabic culture, due to the trading they were doing, spices and whatnot with the European culture, brought it to the European culture. And that was around 700, no, 773 AD is what it says here. And then finally, in 1202, Fabianchi, who's a name I actually know, wrote a book called Liber Abaci, or the Abacus book, where he finally explained the zero to Europeans, because apparently we needed our own explanation or something. I don't know why we couldn't have. Doesn't matter. The good thing was that accountants really liked it, because if they did their assets and liabilities and it equaled out to zero, they knew their books were balanced, which everybody likes to have balanced books. I keep mine on a teeter top. No, that's horrible. Just to keep them balanced. Never mind. The next great mathematician, I'm not sure if that's a phrase that could actually be used or should actually be used, was René Descartes, which is funny because I always thought Descartes was a philosopher. That's how I know him. Apparently he did a couple things. I looked him up. He had a couple interests. One of them was math. The other one was philosophy. And you know what? This is a great time to tell my favorite Descartes joke. So René Descartes walks into a bar, and the bartender says, "Ah, Mr. Descartes, would you like a red wine?" And Descartes says, "No, I don't think," and disappears. See, you either get that joke or you don't. I get it, and I find it incredibly funny. Descartes used, sorry, went off. Descartes used zero as the center of a map, like today in Minecraft, for example. So everybody who plays Minecraft out there can thank René Descartes for how things are shown. When you hit like F3 and it tells you where you are. That's all René Descartes. What else is there in here? Because I am looking up an article to get most of this information from. Believe it or not, the history of zero is not something I keep in the front of my mind. Zero was finally defined in the 1600s by Sir Isaac Newton. He was the one who popularized it. That's really all I've got on zero. Stay blessed. Have a great day. Bye-bye.